Post-editing Dylan here. After the video was suppressed and demonetized for containing trailer footage, I've now had to re-edit and re-upload the video. Not that it's going to make much difference, but that just so you know, Superman means a lot to me as a character. He was, and remains to be, my favorite superhero. Hell, the first video that ever cracked 1,000 views on this channel was a Superman Multiverses combo video. Rest in peace, you waste of potential that only failed because of company greed. In the mid-2000s and 2010s, it was pretty lame to like Superman. If you were like me, then you knew exactly what people said. He's a boy scout. Boring. His strength wasn't earned. He's not cool and deep like Batman. And so on. This didn't deter me though. After I read Superman All-Star for the first time in 2010, my vibe was hopecore. I would argue with my brother and my friends about it. I mained Superman in Injustice, specifically the good version, to clown on people. I laughed at Goku fans who to this day still argue about that first death battle. I read a bunch more Superman comics, I watched a bunch more of the movies and the TV shows. And then I got hyped for Man of Steel. But when it came out, something felt, I don't know, off. Superman ruining a guy's livelihood out of pettiness and revenge. The man that was supposed to instill Superman's sense of moral responsibility said he should let people die. Superman should let people die.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die?
Maybe.
Oh, bruh!
The world looked dead. There was no color. Superman didn't save people. Superman didn't want to save people. Superman was mopey. Superman wasn't human. That was the biggest issue with Zack Snyder's Superman, outside of, studio interference. He was trying to make Superman out to be an unfeeling god, a literal Christ allegory, a chosen one. But that isn't what Superman is. At his core, Superman is an ideal for us to strive towards. Yes, he has superpowers. Yes, he fights evil. But strip that away and you're left with the most important part. His humanity. His want, nay, his need to do good. The type of motherfucker that will go on a day out with Wonder Woman and try to decide what to get Batman for his birthday. The type of guy who will go out of his way to make sure that you, yes you, feel safe, respected, and worthy. The type of guy who will invite someone with no family to spend Christmas with his family, out of the kindness of his own heart. Not the type of motherfucker who just stands there as hundreds of people die around him and then fly away to pout. He's the type of guy who will make the ultimate sacrifice and then save a squirrel. No disaster too big or too small. You can put Superman in a serious story, in a gritty story, in a dark story, but Superman should never be any of those things. Characters in Superman stories idolize him because he's a good man, a hero, not because he's a godlike being deserving of worship. James Gunn delivered on a Superman that does good and is strong, not because of his superhuman strength, but because of everyone else around him. He wouldn't have been saved if not for Lois, found if not for Jimmy and Mr. Terrific, be able to deal with the conflict in Baravia and the splitting of Metropolis without Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl, expose Lex Luthor's evil plans without the guys at the Daily Planet, and Jimmy's ex of all people. Lois Lane calls out Superman's naivete. Jonathan Kent acts as a moral foundation for Superman when his own beliefs are called into question. Crypto is a good boy. And what does Superman do at the end of his movie? He writes an article to honor the man that would help a superhero off his feet who got dragged into something bigger than him and died because of it. A nobody in the grand scheme of things, but the most important person in the world to Superman. Yes, Superman would save a squirrel. Superman would stop senseless killings regardless of political leanings. So yes, let's get that elephant out of the room. Whether intentional or not, the movie does draw parallels to current day events. But the only message of the film is that perhaps, maybe, genociding people is bad? Is being anti-genocide cringe and woke? How telling is it that the most vocal critics of this film are those that intentionally skew themes of films and lie and draw batshit comparisons and leaps of logic? The same motherfuckers who make a living sowing division and bitterness. The type of people who use the term woke in a negative light, pretending that Superman hasn't always been a character that strives for equality and tolerance. In what fucking world can you look at a symbol of hope and kindness, see that he is opposed to genocide, and say that it's woke or cringe? Superman is accepting of all people. He's accepting of his bisexual son. He would be accepting of you if you were trans, any kind of race, any kind of background. Superman has your back. The only people he doesn't have the backs of are racists, are those who would put other people down, villains, evil. It's that simple. You know, it's that, or it's Snyder fans that want Superman to remain a boring, empty husk who sees saving people and doing good things as a burden and exists in a stitched-together, creatively bankrupt universe that had exactly one good contribution. Don't say Wonder Woman. It was shit. Man of Steel was a terrible depiction of Superman before any studio interference. Batman v Superman botched Batman as well. So I don't know. Maybe just get a better media diet instead of latching on to these soulless travesties of films. Damn, I need a healthy dose of hope and happiness. Let's remember all the good things that happened in this 10 out of 10 Superman movie, shall we? Lois Lane was amazing. Lois Lane is one of my favorite fictional characters ever. And to see her portrayed by Amy Adams, who's usually very good, as a meek, bland girl for Superman to save and nothing more, was frustrating to say the least. Lois Lane isn't a plot device. She's often the driving force. She's spunky, she's got moxie. That's why she not only dates the most powerful superhero on Earth, she holds him accountable, raises him up, and has his back. So it was a breath of fresh air to see Rachel Brosnahan, I hope I said that right, give Lois Lane exactly that. The film has color. It's so nice to see Superman on the big screen in a nice blue suit. It's nice to see a world that feels lived in and breathing and alive. I love the action of the film. For so long, to see Superman fight on the big screen was to see him fly up and then do a punch. Fly up and then do another punch. But now he's doing fucking spins and skids. You can see the decision making in real time. He's using his environment and weapons, and he's using his powers in creative ways. And that's not even talking about the fucking Mr. Terrific fight scene, which was amazing. Lex Luthor was an evil bastard, and I loved it. Nicholas Hoult captures that raw hater energy that Lex has. He's not hurt or driven by an emotional or understandable hatred of Superman. He hates Superman because fuck Superman. Remember, he didn't cry because Superman beat him. He didn't cry that his plan failed or that the general public found out about his evil doings. He cried when someone said that they should apologize to Superman, to submit to that alien freak. I mean, could you believe it? I love that the guys at the Daily Planet were actually competent and had an instrumental role in deconstructing Lex's plans, instead of just being a way for them to say, oh, get out there, Clark, get out there and do journalism. Krypto was a good boy, and it was just a pleasure to have on screen. He symbolizes what I feel is the most goofy things about Superman. Why does he have a superpowered dog with a little cape? Why does he have robots? Why does he have a fortress that sinks into the ground at the North Pole? Because it fucking rocks, that's why! It reminds me of DC's initial attempt at trying to make Superman more cool, and they did that by making him take off his trunks. Trying to hide everything that's goofy and weird about Superman is to hide what makes him iconic. He's a weird character. Let him be that. People love that, obviously. And let's not forget about the main man himself. David Cornsweet brings the dork out of Superman, as well as making him the embodiment of justice. He brings a life and a joy to this character that when he's in pain, you feel it, but when he's happy, you can't help but grin like an idiot with him, you know, if you have a soul. And then there are some minor nitpicks. I wanted more of the Justice Gang. I really feel like Hawkgirl in particular we didn't get enough of. I wanted to see more from the Kents. I'm not sure how to feel about his Kryptonian parents being somewhat evil, but that changes every other reboot, so I don't know, who cares. I would have preferred if the clone of Superman was just literally Bizarro, instead of calling him Ultraman, who's like a different character in the comics. But these are so minor that the film is still a 10 out of 10. I want to close by reminding everyone that Superman has always been this good. And if you want more of that Superman good, here are some of my recommendations. Read Superman All-Star. It's like the best comic ever made. It's where he grapples with what to do with his legacy at the end of his life. Superman smashes the Klan, in case you need a reminder, or if you're one of those freaks that likes to use woke as an insult, or try to say that Superman was not an immigrant, because it's literally a story about immigration, and where he punches a bunch of racists, go figure. Superman Up in the Sky, which sees him going above and beyond to try and save just one person. Watch Superman vs. the Elite, a story that is a direct call out to the edgy phase of comics in the late 90s and early 2000s. Superman and Batman Public Enemies, which sees the titular characters fight against heroes and villains alike to uncover a conspiracy, because these two characters are friends, and their first cinematic debut together should not have been them fighting. They are called the world's finest for a reason. And last but not least, Be good to each other. In a time of division, war, and hatred, we need to be better. We need to have hope. We need to be like Superman.